Welcome to Dorset. Today we're at Swanage and we're here for sunrise.
I get the vibe that you're distant. There's something about you that's different. I see it in your eyes. Something isn't right. Tell me again what I'm missing. 'Cause you're fading out. We've been here before. Tell me again, just tell me again, and I'll make it right. Don't go through that door. Tell me again, just tell me again, and I'll make it right.
Great to see you all again, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Today we're at the legendary Banjo Pier here at Swanage Beach in Dorset. And it's a bit of an impromptu trip. I was hoping for a little bit of frost this morning. The temperatures just dipped to minus figures, and I was hoping there would be frost, you know, dotted around in various places, but wasn't to be. The car had a bit on, but the ground didn't really have an awful lot at all. So I did a quick divert and I came down to Swanage, and I got a good reason to be here today. Banjo Pier has got the sun rising literally directly in front of it this morning, so I'm really hoping that we might be able to nail a nice shot here. The clouds are looking quite reasonable actually, and there's a little bit of colour forming out there behind me, as you can probably see, so it looks really, really good. Hopefully we'll get a decent display, which will be rather nice, because it's been a long while since I've had a decent sunrise, so it'd be really nice to get something good today. The great thing about Banjo Pier is it's just a classic shot. It's parallel lines all the way down, and it just looks beautiful. It takes your eye straight the way through the shot, and really, really, you know, does look very, very nice. Everything in there is actually symmetrical, so it's just a really, really pleasing shot for the eye as well. So yeah, I'm hopeful we're going to get something reasonable out of it. It's quite a difficult shot to get more than one, you know, composition of, and I have been really fortunate in the past, and this is the area that I got probably my best sunrise I've ever had in Dorset. It was absolutely incredible. Sky lit on fire, and I'll stick that one up for you to have a look at, but I don't think we'll get anything quite like that today, but hopefully we should get something rather nice, and we'll see if we can play around with compositions at the same time and see if we might be able to, you know, just get something else. As the sun comes up, we'll hopefully have taken all of our shots, and you know, we'll start moving around the pier and start to use the available light when it comes. One of the most important things about this shot is the focal length, and we're going to try a variety of different focal lengths here. Obviously there's a lot of sort of negative space on this shot until you get to the benches, so we're going to try a few, you know, zoom in sort of close in, which will maximise the impact of the sky that we've got and any colour that's out there, but we're also going to try and step back a little bit and do some so we can get a better lead in. But we're just going to experiment, try a few different types of bits and pieces, and see what we can come up with. But at the moment the sky's starting to light up, looking really, really nice, so I'm really confident we're actually going to get a reasonable shot out of this. Shooting at f/16 today, and the reason I'm doing that is I want a nice front to back sharpness, and obviously it's a perspective shot, there's a lot going on in there, so I want everything to be nice and sharp and it all to go in. Plus I'm dragging out that exposure time just a little bit, but we'll see, you know, how that sort of changes as we move on. It's possible if the tide comes in a little bit further, we might move down to the beach and try and get a few sort of wave trail shots, but we'll see how it goes and see what happens. One thing we're going to do today is break the rules a little bit. Usually you shoot a shot like this with third sky, 2/3 foreground, but this shot really does lend itself really well to a 50-50 split. Obviously you need a good bit of sky interest in order to really maximise that, and I will take some with just a third sky if the sky really doesn't have that much going on in it, but at the moment there's quite a bit happening out there. It's looking reasonable, so we're going to stick with the 50-50 split, and we're just going to play around with the focal length and see if we can get something reasonable on here. Because of the nature of the sky and how it's going up here today, we're actually going to use a reverse grad, and I've got the case armour on, and that's really helping me today, because the transition is going from quite a sort of a dark horizon, and it's just getting a little bit lighter as it goes up towards the sky. So it's really worth using these reverse grads every now and then when conditions dictate. The sun's just starting to come up now. It's crowning just on the horizon there, and we've probably got the shots that we want, really. I mean, the light was quite good on there. The colours did glow up quite nicely, but now the sun's coming up, it's actually going to be quite bright, a little bit too bright to sort of shoot into it. We'll get a couple with it, because that is the point of this shot, getting it lined up perfectly with the end. But yeah, we'll play around and see what we get, and we might try and move either side of the pier and see if we can get anything there with the water in there as well. Still a reasonable amount of colour out there today. It was actually quite surprising. It turned out to be better than I thought it was going to be. The cloud forecast was for 100% sort of mid-level, but when I got up this morning and had a look at it, it was nowhere near like that. So I thought I'd take the gamble and come out, and glad I did. Just made a quick dash to the side of the pier here, and trying to capture a little bit of the light as it's coming across, illuminating the pier a little bit and giving a little bit of glow in the background. I'm not getting much in the way of wave trails. I'm not getting quite the exposure time that I wanted without sort of changing up a few things, but it's not bad, and hopefully, yeah, we'll make another shot out of this one. Swanage is a very difficult area to shoot, really. I mean, Banjo Pier is the obvious feature here, and you've got the main pier just over there, and again, that's quite nice to shoot, but you've got a few groins dotted around the beach, but there's not really an awful lot to go at. So we've got some beach huts, and you know, if there's anything there that looks good, but it's a very busy place, and that makes it really quite difficult to shoot a lot of the scenes around here without having the involvement of people. Well, sadly, the light has got a little bit too harsh now at Swanage, and it is very much sort of dipping in and out. 1 minute it's absolutely extreme light, everything covered and, you know, bathed in it, but it's hard light. It's not nice sort of golden morning light. And on the other situation, it'll go behind a cloud and everything's a little bit too flat. So I'm not going to push myself to, you know, force myself to get shots that just aren't there, frankly. I'm happy with what I've got on Banjo Pier today, and I'm fairly confident we've got a reasonable shot out of it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed Swanage today. I'll stick a couple of pictures up here. There's not going to be loads. It's going to be, you know, sort of quite similar pictures just of Banjo Pier itself. Let me know what you think in the comments. Well, it's been a reasonable day at Swanage today. It's lovely to be back out, and it's nice to get a decent sunrise. It's been a long while since I seem to have got one, so I'm really pleased with that. I hope you have all enjoyed watching. Thanks ever so much for tuning in, and if you have enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. It really does help the video get out, and if you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing. Thanks ever so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.